The grilled the grilled sauté shrimp are some of the best grilled sauté shrimp I've ever had, and that's a bold statement. I have not had your fried food yet, so this is episode 91. YouTube, if you're watching, we're about to kick this thing off. I'm just waiting for it to go shareable. Are we on? Why won't it show me? I just want to share it. That's all I want. I just want to share it. My videos. That's what I need to look to. See, I've not seen episode 91. I have no doubt that it's live. Okay.
This is still our transition time anyway. Like, this is when we're going from summer crops to fall, so it's already usually a little lean, and then we got the big wallop Ida. So it's slowly getting back.
I'm doing abatement tomorrow in Homa. I'm going to Homa. I've got a mask and all this stuff, and I'm clearing out a house that is without a roof and moldy and
somebody you know, or so like our
I don't really do, as you know, or as Chuck knows, I don't really do manual labor, so this is a big thing for me. This is a big thing for me.
It's good that you're doing it.
That's correct.
Our shrimper fisher is from Montague, which is so they took
I just picked up a case of Montague.
big ol' hit. And then, of course, over to the east,
Devastated,
Ponchatoula, Albany area, where they really got the wind.
So as a farmer, I would imagine to some degree can you insure your crop?
So big farms, there's USDA, things like that. It's a lot tougher for smaller farms, and also just delays in that, as you can imagine. By the time you might get the money, you're out of business. Yeah. So we actually have a Louisiana Small Farm Survival Fund that Bretta manages and started after Katrina and Rita, and so we give direct grants to our small scale farmers.
Cool.
Keep them going.
We'll talk about all that.
Yeah. Are we on?
Are we live? Are we hot? I'm on the YouTube app on the Geaux Rouge page, and I don't know why I can't see. First world problems. First world problems. If you would, Chuck. Oh, here it is. Here she is. All right. Chuck, if you will share this on Talk 107.3, I will share it while you're talking, and I should be paying attention. I will share it on the Geaux Rouge page. I say Facebook, YouTube, Franz Borkart, Geaux Rouge Show. We're about to kick this pig. We've got a great show lined up today. We have Darlene from Bretta, Farmers Market, Farm Fete. We're talking about that. We've got Caty from Baton Rouge Symphony. And then the second half, we're going to have Veneeth with Broadband from the state. And then we're going to have one of my heroes, Brian from All-Star Catering, talking about some relief work he's been doing and some of his great food, which if you have not had Brian Medlin's food, Chuck, I know you've had the food. If you haven't had the food, it's going to change your life. It's dude, those brownies. Oh. So I was a baker. I used to work at Ambrosia Bakery.
Oh,
I can bake. For 2 years, I was a baker at Ambrosia Bakery, and I know how to bake. Okay. And I was not a crappy baker. I'll just say that. I'm not Brian, but I was good at what I did, and I could follow a recipe. There's something about brownies to me. It's the texture of the hard crust, gooey center, and you're right. Brian said 12-hour window from the oven. Okay, because after that, you got to eat them within the 12-hour window. Did you share it yet?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So before we go hot, if you would, ladies, let's share this so that, and then make sure your phone is on silent. But yes, All-Star Catering's brownies. It's a bold statement. Maybe the best brownies in Baton Rouge. Maybe the best brownies I've ever had.
Wow.
No, I really do. It is.
And he's always talking about, oh, today I really blew my diet. Sounds like you're blowing it 6 times a week.
No. So I do share them with my child. My child who just turned 6, he gets 1 brownie to my 4.
But you get like 50.
I know. Shh. Just go with it. Just go with it.
Just let it happen.
Just let it happen.
It won't let me share.
I was on a date recently, and I got the impression that the date wanted a brownie, and I was apprehensive.
You should have called me up, have you just straight up concierge delivered
Yeah, that's doing it.
You've got
Is Brian
got
calling
inroads
on the
here.
couch?
We're gonna do a Geaux Rouge show episode on dating in 2021, and just let it rip.
Call the dumpster fire?
I got
I-
stories.
I am off.
I have
I
volunteers tribute.
I have
I
never.
have thoughts on that. It's called Don't Do It.
So before we jump in, and we are about to jump in, I have not gotten on dating apps.
Don't.
Don't do it.
And we got okay. Anyways, we'll talk about that next week. We're gonna have it for Frank's.
That's a full show.
We're gonna have Helen Frank back on for Frank's sake, and we're gonna have a dating chat. Anyways, okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, just tell me when to. All right, welcome to episode 91 of the Geaux Rouge Radio Show. I'm your host, Franz Borkhardt. If you're listening on YouTube or on Talk 107.3, welcome to another episode. Man, we got a good lineup today. We've got Caty from the Baton Rouge Symphony. We've got Darlene from Breda talking about Farm Fete. We've got the real deal, Brian from All-Star Catering. He is the real deal, best catering food. I know 225 Magazine does their own little gladiatorial fighting about this. I got to tell you, All-Star Catering is one of my favorite catering industries. We're going to talk about hurricane relief. Brian's been doing some great stuff. And then last but not least, always fun to have Veneeth in from the state talking about broadband. We're going broadband, baby. So before we jump into the episode, let's thank our show sponsors. These are the businesses that make the Geaux Rouge Radio Show possible. The Borkhardt Law Firm, the finest criminal defense firm in the universe. That's my lemonade stand. Criminal defense, personal injury, anything you need, we got it. So, that's what makes this show possible, my day job. I actually lawyer for a living, Chuck. Chuck P's on Master Control right now. Borkhardt Law Firm, La Divina Italian Cafe, serving custom made from scratch breakfasts daily, one of the best brunches in Baton Rouge. And by the way, when you think about brunches, remember they've got a sorbet mimosa that is out of this world. Sorbet mimosa. Caty just said, "Shut up." We're going to talk about it, Caty. Just staying tight. So, Dr. Gunja from MD VIP Heal 360, www.drraina.com. Dr. G is my concierge medical doctor. She is the one responsible for this health journey that I'm on. Doc, if you're listening, you may want to close your ears up because we're going to be talking chocolate brownies, and I've been running a train on these chocolate. Oh, I can't say it on the radio. I've been eating a lot of chocolate brownies. A lot. I'm like Godzilla attacking a small village with the brownies. So anyways, our first guest. Wait, before we talk about our first guest, real men wear pink, Brian. Real men wear pink.
Yes, sir.
So Brian's now in studio. Brian Haldane. So last night.
Apparently a Brian Haldane. There's another.
So last night was the Real Men Wear Pink reveal party at the radio bar. Mm-hmm. It was catered. I mean, it wasn't all-star catering, but it was good. It was good catering. So October kicks off Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yes, it does.
Little known fact.
That's not a little known fact.
No, little known fact.
Oh.
Franzi is organizing a Geaux Rouge Mid-City Pink Run that is going to happen before White Light Nights. Stay tuned. It's going to be a fundraiser run. I know, right? Fundraiser run, Franz.
What world do we live in now, man?
I'm running 5Ks, baby. Boom.
Jesus.
Boom. If I keep eating brownies, I'll be running 5Ks.
Day and night. Dogs and cats sleeping together.
Yes. All right. So stay tuned. We're raising money to help. Franz Borkhardt cares about the ladies and the men who have breast cancer. And by ladies, I mean
so well.
And then by ladies, I mean women. Not. Anyways. So we are raising money to help fight breast cancer. So it's a competition. I got to raise the most money out of the other men that are wearing pink, but we're all collaborating to a certain degree. So, all right, without further ado, we got Darlene Rowland here to talk about Farm Fete from Breda. Darlene, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. It's good to be here with you today.
Every once in a while, there's a guest that I try really hard to get on the radio, and they're elusive. And I ran into her and I said, "Hey, farmers market, we got to get you on. We got to talk." And you're like, you're a busy soul, man. So it's not like elusive as in you're like, "Yeah, I don't need to be doing Franz's show." It's more like I'm really busy. So you mentioned Farm Fete, and I want to talk about what is Farm Fete.
So Farm Fete is the annual fundraiser for Breda, which is the nonprofit, sort of umbrella nonprofit organization that does a lot of things, but what people see most in the community is Red Stick Farmers Market.
Right.
So that's one of our big projects, and then of course we have all other kinds of great projects which help the community. We provide matching funds for low-income families to purchase fresh food at the market. Sponsored by Louisiana Healthcare Connections. We have a kids club where kids get $2 in tokens.
We do have a kids club. Fisher Borkart, my son, my 6-year-old, is a member.
It's the Sprouts, and
Yes.
Baton Rouge Clinic is a great sponsor for that. And so what we're really trying to do is just support small family farmers and connect the community with fresh, healthy food. So, of course, that takes a little money to run an organization. So this is our 3rd year for Farm Fete, and like many other things that got the COVID curse, we had intended on an in-person event, but we just decided to do a little flip to online, and so we're going to be celebrating, well, we're going to do sort of a hybrid, really. What we decided to do is we're going to kick it off next Saturday at the market, the 25th.
Okay.
And we're going to have, we were going to have John Gray and his jazz band play at the event, so we're going to have him play at the market next Saturday. And we're going to take our wine pool that we were going to do at the event, and we're going to have it at the market.
So walk me through what is my experience? What should I expect? What can I look forward to?
Well, those will be the Saturday activities at the market. We'll have a big table set up where you can view some of the items, because what really is the big fundraiser for us is our online auction, which is pretty fabulous. It's actually going to run the 29th and 30th, which were the original dates for the event. So we're doing the 25th as a prelude to that. You can come and view some of the items. We'll have them set up on tables at the market. But the auction itself opens on the 29th, and all you have to do to register, or you can start viewing items now, is text 72727. Text the word farmer to 72727.
Farmer, I'm writing
So
this down.
you can look at that, and you can see we're still adding items. But another great thing we did is, so the restaurants who were going to be so graciously donating for the fundraiser to prepare the food are now taking that, and they've donated some really fabulous auction items.
You know what you need as an auction item?
What do I need?
You need a criminal defense attorney to auction a felony representation.
Oh,
like your
representation. I thought you were auctioning a felony at first.
not the committing of a felony. No, darling. Darlene.
Let's keep it clean, Franz.
Let's put our reins around. Brian, run with me on this one. So a get out of jail free card kind of but felony representation. Like, no, probably wouldn't fit within the framework of it. I bet you that would actually go. That's a hot ticket item, man.
We're open to all options. We're raising money for a good cause.
I know, I'm
all
just
the
joking.
funds go to support
I've heard of
the
doing work
nonprofit.
pro bono, but never pro lotto.
It's a charity. It's charity. So speaking of auction items, give me what are some of the hot items that one might bid on and have a chance to win?
So one of them would be a private dinner at Cocha with Saskia herself.
Oh, yeah.
Preparing
Oh,
and
yeah.
speaking through all the courses with wine pairings. Another would be the similar type thing at Eliza with Chef Russell.
Two good
we
restaurants.
have an 8-person dinner in Latil's Landing at Hummus House with
Has All Star Catering volunteered to sponsor this and work this?
They haven't. I just had the
Well,
pleasure of meeting him
He's kind
this
of
morning.
So he is, to be fair to Brian. Chef Brian is busy doing first responder work. The people that are working on hurricanes and whatnot. So I'll hit him up. I'll butter him up for you.
I mean, it could be a future auction.
Brian said he's in. He's
All
in.
right. Thank you, Brian. Awesome. So we'll have All-Star Catering. We have Chef Celeste, who's inside Main
yeah.
Street Market. She's actually going to auction off a private kids cooking class
You know, someone asked
for a
me.
group. You could do like a birthday party.
So someone asked me the other day in reference to the farmer's market. They were like, I'm going to the farmer's market. Is there a place to eat breakfast? And I literally started laughing. I was like, yeah. I mean, you've got Southern Kofi. You've got Celeste. I think you've got other food
We have
options.
SYI, which does breakfast.
Yeah.
We have
I know that was
Paul Wong's.
that was like a
does breakfast.
divergence there,
Well,
but
back to the busy part. There's a lot of different tentacles to Breda. When I call it the umbrella, it truly
Did you
is.
say
because,
tentacles?
Yeah. So, Main Street Market is part of what we do as well, and that's open Monday through Friday for breakfast and lunch. But then on Saturday, it really combines well when the farmers come and set up outside. Then we have an experience where you can spend a lot of time. You can go in, there's Wi-Fi, there's restrooms, there's restaurants, there's pop-up shops.
Sometimes
music. So,
art.
There's art inside the market, and then
Bow
the
ties.
arts market. You're a bow tie guy, aren't you?
Travis.
Yes.
Bow ties by
Yes.
Travis Robertson.
Yes,
Oh,
they're great.
We're acquainted. Yes.
And he also is making some
Masks.
face masks. Did you
Yeah,
see it
he's
today?
he makes masks. So look, Darlene, we've got about a minute left. One more time, if I want to get information on Farm Fete, where do I go?
Text the word farmer, FARMER, to 2727. Or you can go to breda.org. But really, if you just text that, it'll send you a link where you can sign up, you can view all the items, and then what happens is when the auction opens on the 29th, you'll just get a text that says, hey, it's open, it's time to bid. But I just want to mention a few other items because those are our great restaurants. But also, we have all of our farmers and vendors have donated some really awesome stuff. So you can bid on like a strawberry picking at Fete Farm, a tour of Bellacore Dairy with cheese tastings.
What?
You can bid on wonderful gift baskets from the farmers. I mean, there's the Tour of Fullness Farm with a fig tree.
This to me,
I mean, it's really fabulous.
huge opportunity. And guys, these kind of raffles are where you can win big. And I'm not saying that there's not going to be a lot of competition.
Right.
I'm saying there are some opportunities here, and you get to support Breda.
You can pick up dinner from Don Bergeron's once a month for a year for a family of 4. I mean, there's some great things. And the other thing I want to mention, since I don't have much time left, is hurricane relief.
Yes.
So, of course, the Hurricane Ida did impact our farmers, and especially those to the east and the south. So, back in 2005, Breda established the Louisiana Small Farm Survival Fund, which does just that. It really has helped so many small family farms survive through catastrophes and disasters. And so we also are raising money for that simultaneously. And this year we have dedicated the raffle part of Farm Fete, all those funds to go to the fund. So for $10 at the market or on that same website under the Instabuy, you can get a chance to win some great market swag and market tokens. And so we're sort of doing it all at the same time. We want to be there for our farmers and make sure that we have them continuing to provide food so we can have these great, vibrant marketplaces.
Well, Darlene Rowland from the Farmers Market from Breda, you're always invited. I know you need to skedaddle. You have a meeting to go to.
I may come back next week. We'll see.
You could. You could.
I mean, because it's not until the 29th, right? So
I've got so many things to talk about this dating world we live in Baton Rouge. I've got so many things. So the good thing is, before I complain, what caught me off guard is the last 2 dates I've gone on, I've been the one asked out. Wow. And I'm not complaining about that. That just catches me. Like, is that what happens now in 2021?
You are out and about.
I am out and about. So look, you get out of here.
All right.
We're going to now turn it over to Caty Steward. You may remember Caty, who's been on the show before. Caty is always involved in something amazing, arts-related in Baton Rouge. You may remember Caty when she was with the Theater Baton Rouge. Now, Caty is with Baton Rouge Symphony, right?
Yes.
Symphony Orchestra. Now a neighbor to my law office.
I know. We're right next door.
The Borkart Law Firm, finest criminal defense firm in the universe. So, walk me through. How long have you been with the orchestra? What's going on?
I've been with the orchestra for a little over 2 months, and it is fantastic. I came in, I love arts. I've always enjoyed going to the concerts and kind of doing everything. And this opportunity came across, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this job description is perfect. Met with Eric, went through the whole process, and I am super in love.
Okay.
It's such a fantastic organization.
Right.
One thing I didn't know until I started is the orchestra has been around for 75 years.
It's kind of an establishment, right?
Right. And I just somehow that fact escaped. So like I'm coming in and we're getting to celebrate a 75th anniversary season. We're getting to celebrate moving into a new office with the Arts Council at the Carrie Siraj Community Arts Center.
Right.
We're getting to celebrate the reopening of the River Center Theater after what feels like 100 billion years. On top of all of the really great concerts and events planned this season. So it's super exciting time with the orchestra.
Okay, so walk me through a typical season. So how many opportunities are there to see shows? And then also, how do I get tickets?
Okay.
Yeah.
So this season we have got 8 concerts. Our chamber series, which is the smaller concerts, which we actually just kicked off last night with a phenomenal piano string quartet at quintet. I'm sorry, at First United Methodist.
That's 5. Quintet.
It's 5.
That's
Thank
5.
you. I know I said it wrong. Thank you. And then we've got coming up in October is Boktoberfest at the main library.
Did you just say
I
Boktoberfest?
said Boktoberfest.
Okay.
Brats, beer, and Baroque music. What else could you ask for?
Is All Star Catering helping out with that event? No, I'm joking.
Brian,
I'm
we might
joking.
need to have a conversation before I leave today. Perfect.
Brock, Bach. I don't. Of course you do.
No, you don't.
So Brian is
Okay,
in studio.
we're
You can't-
gonna have a conversation.
So you can't hear him, but he just said they make
house-made brats.
Brats. So
What?
I'm German. I like
I
brats.
never would have guessed.
Yes. So okay. So keep going.
Yeah. So then we've got more holiday concerts than I know what to do with coming up in December. And then in the spring, we're kicking off our orchestral series, which is full orchestra in the River Center Theater. We've got 3 phenomenal guest conductors coming into town. I am so pumped. And in November 5th, is our 75th anniversary concert celebration gala.
Okay. You had me with gala.
I know you
Black
love
tie.
it.
Black tie.
Creative black tie optional is where I think we're going.
What does that mean?
So it means add a little pop of color, a little whimsy with your tux.
me
I know.
pop
Pop?
extra maybe. I don't know.
I don't know, maybe a fancy bow tie.
Pink.
Yeah, of course, because
Yeah.
real men wear pink.
That's right. That's right.
But that's going to be at the River Center Ballroom. Maestro Timothy Muffet is going to be conducting. Full orchestra. We're actually going to be doing pieces. A piece from our first ever concert 75
Okay.
years ago.
Okay.
And a piece that was created for our 50th anniversary concert, as well as a couple other pieces.
Wow.
So there's a tie into all this history.
So I got to ask the question. I know you get outside conductors. Are the musicians, the members of the orchestra, are those local musicians?
Some of them are local. Some of them travel a little bit.
Okay.
But they're all professional musicians. They
Awesome.
audition.
Okay.
And then they're in for the
So
season.
there's also sometimes a mystique around the orchestra, the symphony, about, okay, how expensive are tickets? Like,
It's absolutely something you can do for a date night. You can absolutely buy box seats, spend a little bit more money, but there are still fantastic seats for $35.
that's it?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I like box seats. I like to feel special.
We would love to sell you some box seats.
I know you
But
would.
we've also
Yeah.
there's such a
There's a
there's
lot of
just such this it's so fancy. You have to wear formal every
Well,
time
so
you go.
that was my next question is what's the normal dress? I mean, because we do think, in fairness, Brian, when we think symphony orchestra, we think of suit and tie, black tie. Like, what's the dress normally?
So for the concert last night, I wore a black skirt and a white T-shirt. I mean, it's whatever you're comfortable in. We're not going to turn you away.
Well, be careful with that phrase. Whatever
Yeah.
you're comfortable in. There maybe need to be rules there,
There's
but
not an official dress code, but
Okay.
it's one of those typically for the chamber series, it's a little more casual, kind of depending on the venue. Like Boktoberfest, you'll see everybody in jeans and T-shirts. Last night it was business casual.
okay. So again, if I want to get tickets, where do I go?
You go to brso.org.
Okay.
Baton Rouge Symphony Orchestra.
So I also want to spend a minute talking about your new facility.
Oh, it's so fun.
So not just because it is situated in the heart of downtown next to the Borchardt Law Firm, the finest criminal defense firm in the universe. I literally can look out from my parking lot and I can see this beautiful new art mecca.
I
Yes,
didn't
my
realize
parking lot. What are you looking at me like that from? There's a parking lot and I can see the Triangle building and it's now artsy.
I haven't seen that view. From your office, those are the street, so you got to go to the other side.
No,
you don't
from
bring
the
me the good
parking
side.
lot. From the
Oh,
parking
from the
lot.
parking
Oh no, I
lot.
get street from my.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I thought I wasn't getting the special invite to go to the good room over there. That's
The VIP room.
Good
Yeah.
room, the VIP.
Yeah.
Brian has been to my office, and my office is like a cross between law office and a little kid's nightmare.
Yeah,
of-
I've
of
seen pictures of the
creations.
octopi.
Where the wild things are. I know.
Yeah, it is literally like, is Franz wearing a wolf costume? Because he might be. Although, shout out to Sarah West, who has organized my office and gotten it a little bit more lawyerly. But
She is amazing.
yes, but watching people look when they sit in my office for a consultation and they're looking around trying to figure out what is this dude, who is he? Now, fortunately for me, like the orchestra, there's a reputation there already. Like I'm the real deal.
Yeah.
So there's no like, maybe he's just eccentric. Maybe he's just into octopuses. I don't know. So anyways, speaking of octopuses, speaking of tentacles. Okay, so we've got a minute left, Katie. Talk to me about the new facility.
So we are tenants from the Arts Council.
Okay.
They just built this or renovated the Triangle building, and it's now the Carriage Saraj Community Arts Center.
Used to be the DA's office building.
And it's so the first floor has. I'm going to try to remember it all because I've gotten a little bit of a tour, but I just got off of a walker. I broke my leg, so I haven't gotten every room yet. There is a rehearsal space that's got like a fully decked out Marley sprung floor for dance or theater.
Is there a swimming pool on the roof?
There's not a swimming pool on the roof. There is a beautiful like rooftop balcony patio.
I need that in my life.
It is stunning.
Well, look, we're about out of time for the first half, Katie. Thank you so much for coming in.
Oh, of course.
You, like Darlene, always welcome.
Love it.
Anything we can do to help the Baton Rouge Symphony Orchestra, let us know, and I will be getting in touch with you about getting some tickets. We're about to take our first break, Brian. We'll be right back with the second half. Stay tuned. All right, take your time getting out of here. Be careful. Brian, grab Veneeth. Veneeth. It's the Indian dude outside.
Thank you, sir.
No
I will
problem.
Talk to you soon. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Dude, if Veneeth would have gotten here on time, he would have been the first guest, but dude, you're next, and then we're going to close out with, do you know Brian from All-Star Catering? Yeah. So Brian is the real deal. Brian is the real deal. Like, Brian is the real, in fact, we were just talking about your favorite Indian restaurant. Bayleaf, yes.
Taking my whole crew there. They've never had Indian food. We're going.
Oh, then you should take them.
We're going to lunch.
You should.
He's going, I got lunch planned. Oh, wait, what is this? This is broadband.
This is fiber. So I know you're on a diet and you've lost a lot of weight,
Low carb, baby.
low carb, but this is fiber.
I've got so many things to talk to you about. Oh, my gosh.
So I'm going to give this to you.
It's mine to keep?
That is the future of Louisiana.
Okay, we're going to talk. We're not hot yet, but we're about to go hot. We're going to do a 2-minute intro, and then you're first up, and then you get 10 minutes of just unbridled broadband. I'm broadband as F right now, man. Look at this. Look at this. Shout out to Helen Fink. Helen Fink, who is one of my favorite human beings on the planet, told me, you haven't had Veneeth on in a minute. And I was like, I know. And she goes, you need to have Veneeth on to talk about broadband. He's broadband now. So have a seat, man. Relax.
Yeah.
We're going to do the intro, and then we're going to, and you know Brian.
Of course.
Brian Haldane, right?
I don't know Slim Jim, Brian. It's like,
Slim Jim?
I mean,
I got to lose.
I lost
Good
the
chunk.
competition, but if this is what losing looks like, I'll take it.
Yeah.
The weigh-in this morning was successful. I just got pushed back a little bit.
I'm excited, man. I need to get back on the diet, though.
Wait, how
Brandon-
many pounds have you lost?
I'm at 80, but I probably gained a couple pounds back because I've not been strict. And so
But you have to rebuy all the clothes and all that stuff,
Gunjan's
right?
gonna Dr. G is gonna yell at me.
But you got to buy clothes again and all that stuff, right?
We'll talk about it. It is a very complicated yo-yo life thing. And then look, I've been eating some of All-Star Catering's brownies lately. So the mistake was Dr. G said I could eat some Indian, and she gave me some things I could eat at Bayleaf. Some of the things were like I could eat the lamb chops.
Yes, which are really good.
Very good. I could eat some of the rices, and then I went to look.
Surprising.
Well,
In moderation.
in moderation.
Correct.
But do I look like I know what moderation is? I mean, I'm sitting. You just gave me 2 broadband cables, and I'm like, dude, you couldn't give me a couple more feet. I mean, that's how messed up my brain is. All right, let's kick this pig. All right, welcome back to the second half of the Geaux Rouge radio show. If you're listening on YouTube live or if you're listening on the radio on Talk 107.3, this is episode 91. Man, oh man, Brian, 91 episodes. Hot. It's getting intense in here. 9 more episodes and I'm out. 9 more episodes and I'm out.
Are you calling it at 100?
I got yelled at yesterday at the Real Men Wear Pink event. David, David, who was on the show, said there's no way you're quitting at 100. There's no way you're quitting at 100.
I mean, I don't know why you would.
I just wanted to get 100 episodes.
Most people bow out within their first 10.
Dude, I'm past the pilot stage, baby.
No, I understand that.
I mean, this is a thing now. So, speaking of this thing being a thing and Real Men Wear Pink, stay tuned. Month of October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, okay? I am raising money for American Cancer Society to fight breast cancer. I am right now in the lead. I've raised $6,000. $6,000. It's a battle, though. Second place right now is a doc over at the Baton Rouge Clinic. He's like at 5,000. He's got that doctor money, man. So I need to up my game. I need to start doing some more murders, rapes, and armed robbery defense cases. So if you're listening out there, the more you hire me on case, shameless, Brian.
No, I was just going to say the homicide rate in Baton Rouge has been down over the last 2 months, and I'm like making the parallel in my head. Even though there is no parallel, I'm still making the parallel in my head.
First segment, I was about to donate a free felony representation to Brita for their farm Fete. So look, we're going to jump into this episode, or this segment. The sponsors of the Geaux Rouge show are as follows. La Divina Italian Cafe, serving select wines, ice cold beer, and as we talked about in our first segment, sorbet mimosa. Sorbet mimosa. Dr. G, Dr. Gunja Reyna, MD VIP at Heal 360. I got to tell you, I've got Veneeth in the studio. I told her my goal is to get you connected to her, to work with her. I know you don't want to do it. We talked about some cultural barriers. We talked about, the Indian culture and men versus women and all this stuff. But I said, dude, I feel so much better walking around, breathing better, exercising. And look, you're a beautiful human being. You look marvelous. I'm not saying you need to lose a bunch of weight. I'm just saying.
I need to. I mean, my wife says I need to.
So Dr. Reyna,
Yes.
she has changed my life. She could change yours too. There's still time for you.
Yeah.
All right. So talk to her at www.drreyna.com. Excellent medical provider. She does wonderful stuff for me. She has totally altered my lifestyle. So, and then last but not least, the Borchardt Law Firm, the finest criminal defense firm in the universe, in the multiverse, as Marvel says. You can check us out at www.borchartlawfirm.com. And then also, I do a little thing on Talk 107.3 every Wednesday morning with Brian Haldane called Legally Served. So we do legal topics. And so anything you might want to listen to, talk about, let me know, and I'll talk to Brian about it. I'm holding in my hand right now, Brian Haldane, some broadband cable. And Veneeth is here to talk broadband. You work with the state, right? The Division of Administration. And you are the broadband guy, right?
The internet guy.
You're the internet guy. So,
Yeah.
Okay, when you say broadband,
Yeah.
I'm thinking back to when modems first started, and I was on AOL, and AOL did the very loud screeching noise, and that wasn't really broadband. And then there was Ethernet, and now I'm all knee deep in Wi-Fi right now.
Yep.
I want broadband. I want this cable, this wiring. I want this in my life.
Yeah.
Above ground or below ground, or both.
It depends.
Okay.
If it's below, more expensive. If it's above. But look,
Jump in. This is your show, man.
I'll
This is your
tell you.
show.
So let me just give your listeners some really context on where we are with broadband as a
Sure.
state. So, and let me sort of narrate the story on how we started with this whole broadband effort. So a couple of years ago, the governor created through an executive order, I think it was around 2 years ago this time, a commission to focus on how we can increase our competitiveness as a state when it comes to all things digital and broadband. And so he created the Broadband for Everyone in Louisiana Commission. And that was well before the pandemic. Where just like PP and any other acronym, broadband was sort of top of mind.
So this initiative, was this to make it accessible?
Yeah.
Or is this to provide everyone broadband?
So when we think about the broadband challenge, Franz, in the state, we're thinking about an accessibility issue,
Right.
an affordability issue,
That's what I'm talking
and
about.
a digital literacy issue.
Oh, you got me. I'm so ribbed up right now. Keep going.
So, look, I tell folks, and we're a state, we're a public startup. That's how we classify ourselves. So I report to Commissioner Darden within the Division of Administration, but in essence, we're a public startup. We're a first-time office, brand new. We're recruiting talent to come and work with us at any given time and all the time. But also, our job is to execute this vision of trying to eliminate the digital divide by 29.
So I cannot imagine, and maybe it's my privilege.
Yeah.
Maybe I cannot imagine not having access to internet.
There's a bunch of folks.
I know, right?
And so, look,
and I get pissy when it's slow internet. I'm not talking like
Yeah.
internet. I'm just saying.
So look, I've had the chance to travel throughout the state.
Okay.
I've had a chance, and it's been an awesome opportunity to go see towns, villages, parishes. We've been to places as few as 300 people to, obviously places like Bossier and Calcasieu, et cetera. There's a ton of people that do not have basic broadband.
Okay. What is the obstacle? Is it cost?
It's
Is
cost,
it,
right?
Okay.
And so from the provider's perspective, it's expensive to build out in areas where they feel that they may not be able to generate a return on investment. But what the pandemic has shown is that broadband singularly helps to improve quality of life, quality of place, and helps to generate jobs in locations that we would have never imagined locating remote workforce.
So during the pandemic, I used broadband more so than anything
Right.
else to operate a mobile office from my house.
Right.
And I can do that. When I say true mobile office, I mean I can, if you give me a laptop or a tablet and a phone and internet, I'm good.
Yeah.
All my law office exists in the ether of the cloud.
Correct.
So I cannot function without that.
Right. So look, and I'll tell you, for folks in Baton Rouge, when I talk about Tensas, some of these parishes are places that people may not necessarily have an appreciation for. When we think about Louisiana and the 4.6 million people that live in the state, we need to all row the same boat when it comes to
Right.
trying to uplift everyone when it comes to broadband challenges, because that increases our competitiveness. But post Ida, what are you hearing? You're hearing
man.
right. You're hearing challenges about on the cellular side.
I'm sorry. Unacceptable to me that AT&T, and that this is not Veneeth, this is Franz. Unacceptable that to not have cell phone service after a second major catastrophe, after offering testimony that this won't happen again and we're going to fix these problems. Okay.
So you've got the cellular challenge, right? And then you've got the fix, which is this stuff, right?
This is beautiful.
You've got the broadband challenge.
It's like a bouquet of colorful.
That's right.
Beautiful.
But that's what it looks like. This is what you would put underground, as people start to dig up to build out infrastructure.
Would you like to touch it, Brian?
Water, sewer. This is what it is, and this is what you would.
So
put.
if you're listening on the radio and you can't see, I'm holding cable. I'm holding.
This is conduit, and this is cable, and then the stuff that's fine. That's sort of like the width of a hair strand is fiber optics.
So these fiber optics, what does this translate to?
Look, it's just like the equivalent of building a 10-lane Mississippi River bridge.
So not like a government road diet. 10 lanes. Okay, I'm with you.
So in essence, if the city of Baton Rouge decides to double in population in the next 5 years, and you have a 10-lane Mississippi River bridge, that bridge can accommodate all that traffic.
I love it.
And that's what this is.
Okay.
The fiber accommodates as much traffic and transmission data as possible. So what was the big challenge? Everyone started doing schooling at home.
I was just about to bring that
So
up.
you had a family of 4, let's say one kid doing schooling at home, one parent doing a telehealth visit, one paying bills online, and one watching, highlights of a football game. Before the pandemic, those speeds may have not been enough. Coming out of the pandemic, it's certainly not enough. This helps to solve that.
Right. All right. So what is required from the state? What is required to get this cable where it needs to be so we can have a universal access?
So I'll tell you what's really interesting and why I feel really motivated, and not only motivated with the challenge, but bullish that we're going to solve the digital divide by 29. In the last 6 weeks, we've been to places like Bossier, Calcasieu, Acadiana, East Feliciana, Plaquemines Parish, Tangipahoa, East Carroll, all these parishes throughout the state. A lot of them over the last 6 weeks have started to get organized, and they're coming up with their own broadband plans. So our office has $177 million that we're going to have to spend on addressing the access issue, which is this.
So you're the guy to know.
Sure.
The office.
The office, sure, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay.
So you combine the financial resources we're getting from the federal government to addressing this access issue with the motivation and the organization that these parishes are doing, which is really full credit to them, on getting their broadband plans in place. And that gives me that motivation, but also that gives me the sense that there's a sense of urgency for folks who are trying to address this issue.
So I've got Veneeth from the state Division of Administration,
Yes, yeah.
Talking about broadband. Look, if I want to get more information about what you guys are doing as an entity, where would I go?
Go to connect.la.gov.
Connect.la.gov. Have you had him on the show yet, Brian?
Yeah, and I need to make sure you've got enough time to ask him to tell you about Dollar General and their play in all of this.
Okay, go for it.
Look,
Great question, Brian Haldane.
Well, thank you.
So what's really interesting is that in Louisiana today, there are 355 towns below 6,000 people.
Okay.
So typically in every small town, you're going to have local mom and pop and so on and so forth. In every small town, you're going to also have a Dollar General or Family Dollar, but most likely Dollar General. What's interesting about Dollar General is that they're uniquely positioned to help solve a lot of these broadband problems because, frankly, they've got their own broadband challenge. You go and visit any of these Dollar Generals as you drive down Burbank or wherever, notice what's on top of a Dollar General store. You're going to see a satellite dish.
Huh.
And part of that satellite dish is to help with broadband and to help process credit card payments at that store. Mm-hmm. So they've got a broadband challenge just like a small mom and pop that may be in a small town in Louisiana that's having the same broadband challenge.
So why not partner up with...
We're talking to them.
You're flirting? You're flirting? Going on a few dates?
We're talking to them to help us address issues around literacy.
Okay.
Right? And to address issues around affordability and access.
So when you say... I think we have enough time to cover this. What do you mean by literacy? Because I
basic computer functions.
Yeah,
we're not talking about Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg like app coding, Apple, and all that stuff. We're talking about using
your phone
or your device to understand how to facilitate a telehealth visit.
You're like Prometheus with the fire, man. I love it. And by the way, I'm all about telemedicine because I want to be all about telelaw. And I am working on that.
And I'll tell you, I had a conversation with the dean of a nursing school whose mom lives in Lafayette, who's 82, who as you get older, you have any assortment of health problems. She doesn't have broadband access, and when the doctor says, look forward to your next appointment, you could facilitate that in a telehealth visit in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So that's the challenge we're trying to solve.
Well,
is to help that family get access to the internet so they could facilitate a telehealth.
I think it's definitely something that a lot of people take for granted because, dude, look, in Hurricane Ida, if you're on the Goodwood Nextdoor app, power goes off for 5 minutes and power goes back on, and within minutes, people are complaining about, my Cox internet's not working. I mean, we're in the middle of a hurricane, but what's wrong with Cox? Or, I think there is a certain amount of tone deafness when it comes to that with people, in certain circles that enjoy broadband or internet without worrying about these things that we've been talking about. So, man, not having to go to an actual visit, being able to do telemed.
Look, it's a huge quality of life thing. And remote workforce is going to be an increasingly important.
So you're always welcome to the show. Can I keep the wiring? Brian, I'm gonna need you to give me back the
fiber.
Yeah, the fiber. So anyways, yes, Veneeth, thank you, man. And look, for our last guest, I mean, I know you're a busy guy. You're very important. You're a huge deal. we got Brian Medlin from All Star Catering.
There's a lot of fiber in his food too,
dude.
Among other things.
All right. So I will say, I gave Brian a guilt trip. Brian from All Star Catering, guilt trip, because I told him, don't come here empty-handed. I need brownies. Those brownies.
Where are those brownies?
I mean,
are they gone?
They are currently in production.
So he's making me brownies right now. But here's the deal: there's different forms of currency in this world. There's Bitcoin, there's cold cash, and then there's All Star Catering brownies. I mean, it's like cryptocurrency on steroids. So why do I have Brian Medlin on the show? Not just because he's a wonderful guy, not because he's a friend, not just because he has tremendously good food. You've been doing some work in and around Baton Rouge and Louisiana to help the responders. Veneeth, thank you for coming in, man.
Appreciate it. Have a good weekend.
Yeah. So I wanted to come on to celebrate you a little bit. I know you're not all about celebrating you. I'm all about celebrating you.
Thank you.
So I want to talk to me about All Star Catering and what it's doing to help with the relief.
So we have, over the last couple decades, been a big part of disaster relief. We kind of transitioned from our retail restaurants into full-service catering, and part of that allows us at certain periods, especially during a hurricane, to have a lot of free time on our hands.
Okay.
Because people aren't exactly throwing parties that we're going to go cater. They're probably
I was going to say they're throwing parties, but not the kind you're going to
not the
cater.
kind that, yeah, absolutely. So, so we found ourselves in a unique position to give back to the community. We built a giant new kitchen on Florida Boulevard, close to Airline, and we have the equipment and the personnel to pump out large volumes of food.
Okay.
So we can handle.
We're not talking about large volumes of prison food here. We're talking about all-star catering
restaurant
food.
quality food.
Restaurant catering. I was there. I
Yes.
saw. It smelled freaking delicious.
Country fried steak.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, we have the red beans and rice, jambalayas, things like that. But we also we don't change up our menu just to serve down watered down red beans and
Right.
things like
Remember
that.
right.
But we enjoy it because we can do individual boxes for State Fire Marshal, for AMR when they come into town, and we feed thousands and thousands of people. But also the Red Cross in bulk, we can get hundreds of thousands of meals out over the period of a disaster. And there's a lot of people that people don't realize they do not have food to eat for sometimes days at a time,
Right.
trapped in floods, whatever. And we do our best to facilitate getting hot comfort food. So at least at the end of the day, the middle of the day, beginning of the day, you get a hot meal, makes you feel a little bit better and brings some normalcy.
So besides of course running a successful catering company, why are you invested in doing this kind of work? What is it about doing this kind of aid that makes Brian say this is something All-Star Catering needs to do?
Half because I'm a workaholic and I really enjoy
You are a workaholic.
I really enjoy the adrenaline because I could go 22-hour days and go in my office and sleep for a couple hours.
Ladies and gentlemen, he literally sleeps at the catering office.
Yep, we have an apartment up top and we have a cot in my office. But doing that, but also there's a certain point where you just, it's not about the money, it's not about recognition, it's about nothing else than just helping your fellow human. There's a lot of linemen. There's people out there hanging, fixing the water, fixing anything and everything that just went bad. The last thing they need to be worried about is where the food's coming from. So if we can get that done and out to those people,
Awesome.
it just makes you feel good, tugs at your heart.
So what different entities are you working with right now? I know you're working with some of the linemen.
This major one, other than so we have donations that we're going to keep private. That just kind of we just
Right.
asked to, for that reason, we just want to help out and we don't want any recognition. The big ones were Red Cross, AMR, which is federal. They're a medical response. Got a lot of ground and a lot of air support
Okay.
for that, and then the State Fire Marshal. As these other people come in from all these other states, they obviously need to be fed. So
and then look, here's the other side of this. Even though you're not doing it for this reason, the best way to promote your business is just do good for the community.
that's right.
It's better than an advertising dollar. It's better than any kind of, it is because to me, that's how you get people that become invested in what you do and your food. And by the way, in rough times and tough times, the one unifier for us is what? Good food. Now,
Unfortunately for Louisiana, we have a lot of hurricanes, but we also have a lot of good food.
right.
So
So now walk me through the pantheon that is All-Star Catering. I mean, if I want to get food, now let's change gears a little bit. If I just want some good catering, let's say I'm throwing an event, let's say I'm doing the next level tailgating for 100 people, what are my options with you guys?
So the first thing is being the face of the business is pretty cool because I get to interact with
Right.
every client, but it's also it's more of a concierge.
Right.
So when you call in, you get to talk to me, and we go straight through the menus. We go through your numbers. We go through your expectations for are we doing pickups or are we going to deliver it and do full service. So it all begins with a simple phone call, and honestly, within 15 to 20 minutes, you've got a full quote with everything lined out and priced in your email box. So it's sitting there in your inbox, and it's
But you do fried fish.
That's right.
Fried chicken.
Yep.
You do, I've seen red beans and rice. You do barbecue, right?
Yes.
I mean, what is it? I mean, I guess grilled shrimp, boiled shrimp, some of the
right.
best shrimp I've ever had. What do you not do, man? I mean,
Well, we started off with Opie's in Mid-City, and
Okay.
that was 4 years. And then we moved on. We had Smokin' Aces
Okay.
in down in the Garden District. We've had All-Star Catering. So we've had the opportunity to work in. I spent 11 years at Louis D'Angelo's pounding out pizzas and putting pepperoni on them. So I had the fortunate education to grow up, not only to go to college, to get a well-rounded education. That was super cool. But even better was to work every day in the kitchen and grind it out. And that's all it's about. When you have high quality food and ingredients, You put that together with good service, and that's it, man. You don't need billboards. You don't need any of these fancy things. You just deliver.
Dude,
that's your advertising. Doing a good job.
That's like Borchardt Law Firm and Geaux Rouge, baby.
Best in the universe.
I mean, I'm not best criminal defense firm in the universe.
Multiverse.
I always like to think of it more like the A-Team, Brian Haldane.
Yeah.
If you can find Franz, maybe he can help.
I made an A-Team reference on my show this morning. That's
Great.
So the
now,
exact same
they're
line.
mercenaries, though, right?
And you're not?
I'm kind of a mercenary. I mean, I will shake my butt on a pole
In a bear costume.
in a bear costume for charity.
Or not.
But all joking aside, and Brian has heard me say this before, the best advertising dollars that I've ever experienced is doing community stuff. It's better than Gordon's. I mean, no offense to Gordon McKernan. You can have a million signs, but I got to tell you, you make a genuine connection with somebody. You help them fight cancer. You help them do something to better their lives. That's a friend for life, man.
That's right. So, and the best feeling is the person who can never advertise for you, the person that's never that you get nothing out of it other than feeling good because you got 30 members of a church that they're just having a little get together, don't have a real big budget, but guess what? You get to feed them, you feel great. At the end of the day, it's a win-win.
So if I want to get some good food from All-Star Catering, where do I go?
All-Star Catering, LLC.com.
And if I want to call you, what's your 1-900 number? No, I'm joking. allstarcatering.com. Right. You're on Facebook. You're on social media, right?
That's right. We don't do any advertising other than a couple Facebook posts. We have a $0 budget since 2006.
Okay.
Zero. But my dad told me a long time ago, you got to have the right equipment, and you absolutely have to do. You're only as good as the last meal you served. So if you do a good job for people and deliver, that's all the advertising you need.
I'm looking forward to having some of the world-class award-winning brownies today.
They should be coming out the oven about this time.
Okay, so we'll talk.
Yeah.
We'll talk off air. All right, that's about it for this episode of the Geaux Rouge Radio Show. This is episode 91. Next week, tune in. We're going to be doing Dating in Baton Rouge. Dating in Baton Rouge.
Dumpster fire.
It's I've had.
There's a reason I'm single.
You're unattainable. That's your problem.
Workaholic.
Workaholic. So, Brian, you're going to be around for next week. Maybe. I mean, you've been married for how many years?
By this time next week, we can officially say 20.
Yeah, you don't want to listen to me about relationship advice. But Brian Haldane may have some things to, it's like Dave Ramsey. Want to stay married? Don't talk to the person that's been married.
You've been married 15 times?
I ain't talking to you about this.
I hope 16 works for you, but I don't want to read your book.
Right. So that's about it for this episode of the Geaux Rouge Show. Thank you for watching. This is your host, Franz Borchardt, saying goodbye. Have a great weekend. YouTube Live. Love you. Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep coming. Go to All-Star Catering. Dude, the brownies are so good. Do you make any other desserts? Like, besides the brownies?
Mississippi mud, bread pudding, banana pudding,
So
14 different cookies.
It is hard for me to imagine something better than the brownies. And that's not because I don't believe you can't do it. It's just hard for me to imagine. The brownies are so flippin' good.
So the brownies are a 10.
Okay, yeah.
The Mississippi mud's a 14.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm not even playing.
You really?
Everything down to the hand-whipped whipped cream.
Stop.
Hand-whipped.
All right. Well, tell your people I will. I've got a 2:00 at my office, but I'll be
heading by for.
I've got a lunch at noon, but I'm going to head by to pick up my brownie stash. Make sure my girl is there.
We all?
Yeah. Are we off now?
No.
Yeah.
I was waiting for you to say goodbye.
Bye, guys.